What's happening, Expeditioners? It's Peter here, founder of Expedition Money, and I want to talk to you today about getting paid to live in paradise. Sound too good to be true? Listen, I'm going to actually talk about one that I find intriguing. One offer to move abroad, to live in a place that is picture perfect in my mind. You might have the location of your dreams as something like a beachfront town or a Greek seaside mountain village or something like that. But I want to share one about Switzerland. Now, if you actually Google this, you can find a lot of details, and there seem to be a lot of missing details. I just want to talk about this one situation in particular, but more than that, I just wanted to talk about the idea of geoarbitraging. I've talked a lot about that and written a lot about it in terms of going somewhere else where your dollar is stronger, but primarily in retirement, right? But there are a number of countries where you can go somewhere and it's not necessarily going to be a great geo-arbitrage opportunity because the cost of living might actually be pretty similar, say, to the United States. But many countries, especially many European countries, are suffering from population decline. They haven't had enough people having babies when it comes down to it, or enough immigration. And so they are losing people. That causes a lot of different problems. You wouldn't think, hey, why is that such a stark problem to have? But it really does cause a lot of problems, especially when you have social programs like younger people or working people paying into programs which are paying the benefits to retired people. If you have top-heavy society where you have a lot of retirees collecting benefits or getting health insurance, this is something that's happening in Japan as well. But in some places, they are trying to solve this and trying to reverse this with money. Now, the thing I wanted to show you here was something that's made top headline news lately. And I actually think that they got too many applicants for this already. So Albinen, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, in Switzerland. I've never been to Switzerland. I've always wanted to go. I love Swiss watches and Swiss cheese and Swiss Army knives. So who wouldn't love that? But one of the things that I really love about Switzerland, at least from what I've been able to see online, is that it looks just beautiful. It's just beautiful mountains and the Alps and skiing. And it just looks like one of those idyllic European mountain societies, right? If I look at this article here by Reader's Digest, I actually was just looking for pictures of Albinen, I may be pronouncing that wrong, to show you, and it was actually about this incentive to move there. So let me tell you this. Let's say that you have a job that you could do remotely, and you're like, I can move out of my big city and I'll move to another state, get a little different exposure. What if country would pay you to move there? You could still do your remote job, take your family with you, but this stunning town in the Swiss Alps will pay you $25,000 to move there. I was just looking at these pictures, man. How incredible is that? Think about waking up, seeing that in the winter, this little village. Golly, that is really my dream, a little quaint town like that. All right, let's talk generally about what they're offering here because it blows my mind in some ways. Non-residents who wish to relocate to the Swiss village Albinen can get paid. Now, a Swiss franc is about a US dollar, depending on the exchange rate, but 25,000 francs per adult, $25,000 per adult, and $10,000 per child to move there. So let's say you're a family of four, mother, father, two kids. You could get $50,000 plus another $70,000 just to go there. Imagine that. Think about how maybe money's tight. You got a little savings. You're making things work, working hard. You got a couple jobs. And then all of a sudden someone would plop $70,000 in your bank account just for moving to their town. Yeah, you'd have to go over there and there's some visa issues and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, look at this village. The higher up, the better for me. Man, I would love to have a view. All right. So that is one aspect of it, but there are details, and I think some people are leaving out some of the details here. So I just wanted to talk about this. So as you can see, $25,000 per person, $50,000 per couple, per child, family four, like I said, $70,000. All right, here's the deal though. You have to be under 45 years old. So they want younger people. They don't want people knocking on the door of retirement. I feel a little bit like they should have put a little window in here. Maybe I'm a little bit selfish on this, but maybe from 46 to 50, just a little bit less of an incentive. You're still getting someone in their prime, going to work a few years. You have to have a C residence permit or Swiss passport. You have to invest, and this is really the key one here, invest at least $221,000 into buying or building a property. Now, let's say you own a home here in the US. This is where I think it gets interesting. I'm not sure what real estate would cost you in Albinen. I am guessing that $220,000 is probably going to get you into a house of some sort. And so what I wouldn't be surprised in a lot of cases here is if you have that in equity, you could sell your house, take your $220,000, take the $70,000 they're giving you, put that into a house and kind of be debt free, right? Agree to stay in the village for at least 10 years. That's really not that long. If you're under 45, golly, 10 years goes by like this. I've been living in this house for 10 years and it blows my mind. I've been living in this house for 10 years and I still hit the wrong light switches for different lights in this house sometimes, all right? Become a Swiss citizen. I'm not exactly sure what that entails, but I think in Switzerland, you have to do some military duty. Hopefully, maybe if you become a citizen or a dual citizen later in life, you don't have to do that, but I'm not sure. And the village is located in the Swiss Alps, so that's something you got to keep in mind. So many inquiries from people abroad. Most people do not meet the conditions. I think what I've heard is that this is already taken, but man, you look at a deal like this and I am intrigued by it. I get that you still have to buy a property, but that's not like vaporizing money. You would still own that property. Maybe you want to go back to Switzerland. Maybe you want to come back to the United States and have that house abroad, whatever. It's certainly reasonable to think that a deal like this could give you a nice leg up in life. Money out of the gate. And if you are working remotely, you have a job here or a career here, and again, you'd have to adjust for the time zones. I would assume it's 6 or 7 hours ahead of where we are here. But think about that. You're working remotely in the United States, work remotely there, collect your U.S. salary. There's the foreign earned income exclusion. So if you're living abroad and earning money from a U.S. company, a lot of it is not taxable. So there's just a lot of incentives. And plus, a friend of mine, when she became wealthy, she took her kids, who were pretty young, and got a tutor for them, but went ahead and lived in Europe for about 3 years, all over Europe. Italy, Austria, Germany, the UK, France, just all over. And she just really wanted to give her kids a world exposure, a global exposure and experience. Part of me is always torn a little bit like that. Yes, you will be a little bit more worldly. You'll certainly have more experiences than kids your age. But on the other hand, I feel like you could easily be spoiled by that. Now, I bring this up because, one, this opportunity really struck a chord with me. It was a place that I would really think about going. And the fact that they're not letting people over 45 go or have the offer, that excludes me. However, there are lots of offers if you are willing to keep your eyes open and your ear to the ground and read some of these offers from countries and places that are desperate to get people in, whether it is paying you to come or to give you free real estate. In fact, one of the things that was popular in the last few years was that some Italian towns were giving away property for $1, assuming that you would put some money into it. Now, in most cases, I think the requirement was to put 58,000 US or thereabouts into restoring the property. So sometimes it was a smaller farmhouse or something like that. But from what I saw, if you were willing to do this, man, some of these places are now just really cool places. Some of these places are in smaller towns, which is why they're trying to get people there, with a lot of buildings. Some are going decrepit, and so you're restoring some of these. But man, just beautiful places in the countryside in Italy that you could go and now have a small 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom place to stay at, to enjoy. It just seemed like there were some incredible opportunities. Yes, there's some work on your part. There's some investment in your part. But if you are willing to look at some of these kind of struggling communities, some of these struggling countries, and look at the incentives they are offering you, it could be just a great opportunity for you to increase your portfolio, increase your exposure, get a little bit more worldly. And so I would definitely consider it. In fact, if you just Google places that will pay you to move there, you might find articles like this: 17 places around the world that will pay you to move there. Albinen, Switzerland is not the only one. I know that I think like Chile and some of the places in Asia will also pay you or make great incentives for you to go there. I even know people, like I said, that just move, not because there's an incentive, but just because the exchange rates are so favorable. They can live like kings on the US dollar and not spend a lot of money. But there are also places that will put money in your pocket. So I just think these are really interesting. If you are interested in this and you want to check it out, I would certainly encourage it. If they haven't distributed all their funds already to applicants, then maybe you could get in on it. And please, if you do, let me know how it goes. I want to hear about your journey along the way. But man, just really cool opportunities. And dude, I would love to go to Albinen. That looks amazing. So that's it for today. If you keep your global perspective, sometimes an opportunity might come knocking that is too good to pass up. I'll see you later.